As a good start for 2024, I have spray painted a few parts of the BMW to test out the color scheme. But before we get into that, I quickly want to take a moment and wish you a happy new year and thank you for all the support in 2023. It was quite an eventful year because in the beginning of 2023, I didn't even know how to TIG weld. So one of my New Year's resolutions was to learn how to TIG weld, and I've applied for an online course from the Pacific Arc TIG Welding channel. I'm gonna put the link down below in case you want to check it out. This is going to be a great skill for the custom bike building, and I'm very excited to actually do some work on the BMW before we need to put in a few more hours into this. It was a big investment at the time, but it really paid off. And learning to TIG weld with aluminum first allowed me to fabricate the seat plate out of aluminum, which was one of my first fabrication projects for the BMW. That turned out quite nice. It was a challenge, but it gave me the confidence to move over to steel. I first tried a few smaller projects like the brake fluid reservoir bracket, and then moved on to my first actual bigger fabrication project, which was the rear fender. From there, I've moved on to the front of the bike and made a front fender for the BMW. Those first few fabrication projects, and especially the mistakes that I overcame in the process, gave me the confidence to tackle more and more parts that I want to build for the BMW. And with the help of my good friend Nico, we also tackled projects that I would not have been able to do on my own, like lowering the front forks about 30 millimeters, which I needed to make spaces for. And if you want to see how I've done that, I'm gonna link you the video right here. At this point, thank you very much to you, Nico, that I'm always welcome in your workshop and that you share all of your knowledge so freely. I've learned so much over the past year from you. I really appreciate that. As thankful as I am for the past, now it's time to move on to the future because there are a few very, very exciting projects waiting for us. For example, we're gonna do the whole wiring of the bike, the engine that needs to be cleaned, but also we have to think about powder coating because most of the fabrication projects are done now. I still have to make a few little brackets, but the visible ones are done. So now it's time to think about the color scheme because the color scheme was never really decided on. And since it's still open for suggestions, a friend recently shared an idea with me that I have a hard time imagining, but it might be something that suits the bike very well. So I bought a few supplies so that we can give the BMW a few coats of paint so we can get an understanding of what it would actually look like. For the top, I've used a transparent cover so I can get enough light into the box so I can actually see what I'm painting. But before we do that, I quickly want to clean up the front and the rear fender so that they're actually 100% ready for when it's time to powder coat them. On the rear fender, I have these two wings that secure it to the bike, and the whole placement bothers me so much. I think that it would be strong enough, but it just looks unprofessional and I have to redo it. The new wings are installed, this looks a lot better. I've made a few last changes to the front fender and I went around the edges so that they're super smooth now. The rudimentary paint booth worked very well. And this is how it turned out. Obviously, this is just like a little mock-up. The surface finish would be different. This is kind of like a little matte for my taste. But let's see how it looks on the bike. The fenders are back on the bike, and even though I don't like the matte finish at all, I do like the black, because the idea behind this is that we're gonna keep the stock blue tank color, which is part of the bike's history. With all its imperfection, little dents and scratches, it tells the story of this bike, which is almost 50 years. And the same goes for the engine. I'm gonna give this a good clean, but apart from that, I'm gonna keep it as it is. So the middle part is gonna tell the story of the bike and represent the character of the airhead, and then the rest will be blacked out. That is the plan for now. Let me know how you like it and how you would paint the bike if it was yours. Also, I'm very much looking forward to all of the projects in the next weeks, especially the wiring. It's kind of daunting because I've never done it before, but it's also something that I think, like, learning the fabrication process can be very rewarding in the end. So I'm looking forward to that. If you want to follow the build, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to watch another video from the past, check out this video right here. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.